Life can be hard sometimes. We feel lonely, anxious, exhausted, no job, no friends, no strength left to keep going. But please do not blame ourselves. Read the Bible. Look for God in the silence. God is working. He's shaping your life through pain, turning your weakness into strength, preparing you for a greater destiny. Your hardship is not His punishment, it's His grace, His love. The Lord Jesus revealed the truth to us through Paul in 2 Corinthians 12. The second episode to the Corinthians was written by St. Paul 20 years after the crucifixion and resurrection of Jesus Christ. Paul wrote this letter to church in Corinth, a major Greek port city famous for trade, culture, and moral challenges. It was these challenges and hardships that drove Paul to restart his missionary journey to Greece. The Aegean Sea is bright and clear in the summer, but Paul's heart is dark and anguished. His visit to Corinth ended with humiliation. He said, "A painful visit, that I will not come to you again in sorrow." He loved Corinth. 3 years ago, he founded church in this beautiful Greek land in person. But just like modern West, ancient Greeks are smart, dynamic, yet proud and impatient. After founding the church, things fall apart. False teachers entered, questioning his authority. Rome governor regarded him as a potential threat. Even the church itself was divided by different leaders. He revisits here to restore order, but what greeted him was not flowers and applause, but mockery and doubt. In Hellenic temples, false prophets doubt the doctrines of the gospel. Paul defends by preaching the miracle of Jesus' resurrection. In the city hall, local nobles mock the poverty and humanity of Christians. Paul shows them how Jesus used 5 barley loaves and 2 fish to feed 5,000 starving people. However, he could never forget the words shouted at him in the marketplace. If you do have God's power, why are you persecuted, poor and deep in crisis? Where is your God? Why should I worship a God who can't give me wealth, power, and success? A gust of thin wind blew. Paul's boat shook in waves. He felt pain, a through in his flesh. And lest I should be exalted above measure by the abundance of the revelations, a thorn in the flesh was given to me, a messenger of Satan to buffet me, lest I be exalted above measure. Now, if you are Paul, what would you do? Would you blame our God? Can you keep your faith during hardship? It's not just about Paul, but all of us. Reality can be cruel. We feel lonely, anxious, exhausted. Some people lose hope, drawing their pain in alcohol, addiction, or despair. Paul knows that darkness too. He's not just a preacher. He's a real man who has been broken and humiliated. Yet in that darkness, he found something greater, grace. On the turbulent sea, he prayed to Lord, begged God to take away his pain. Concerning this thing, I pledged with the Lord 3 times, that it might depart from me. The grace of God always came when His believers are in desperate. Lord Jesus responded His prayer in Revelation. My grace is sufficient for you, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. In extreme joy, surprised Paul then declared, therefore, most gladly, I will rather boast in my infirmities, that the power of Christ may rest upon me. Therefore, I take pleasure in infirmities, in reproach, in need, in persecutions, in distress, for Christ's sake. For when I'm weak, then I'm strong. Painful Paul received the power of Christ through his weakness and infirmity. For me, this is one of the most heartwarming but powerful moments in the Bible. Thomas Aquinas used to comment on this. The grace of God makes the weak strong, and therefore the apostle glorifies in his infirmities that the power of Christ may live in him. Our weakness becomes a channel of divine participation. God did not remove Paul's pain. Instead, He filled it with meaning and transferred it to courage, confidence, and glory. We all have our own struggles: fear, failure, loneliness, rejection. Do not hide them. Pray to God, seeking His guidance and grace. Because weakness is not the end of our mission. It's the beginning of God's miracle. Where we break, where the miracle starts.